There comes a moment in every life when the silence feels too loud, the waiting feels too long, and the past whispers louder than the future speaks. Perhaps you're standing at the edge of despair today, looking back on years that feel like they've slipped through your fingers. Opportunities missed, time lost, mistakes made, wounds endured, dreams shattered. And the voice of the enemy tells you that it's too late, that the damage is done, that your best days are behind you. But I have come to tell you today, by the authority of the living God, that your wasted years are not the end of your story. God is about to restore all that was lost. He is the God who redeems time. He is the God who brings beauty out of ashes, the God who speaks to dry bones and makes them live again. The God who says, I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. That promise still stands, and it has your name on it. You see, the devil is not just after your peace. He is after your timeline. He wants to convince you that because years have been lost, you are disqualified from what God promised. But the devil is a liar. God does not measure your future by your past. He measures it by his purpose, by his mercy, by his power. And he is not a God who is ever late. He is a restorer. He is a rebuilder. He is a redeemer. And what the enemy stole in years, God is about to restore in moments. Some of you have wept over wasted seasons, relationships that broke you, addictions that chained you, bad decisions that led you down paths you never meant to walk. You've cried yourself to sleep wondering how you ended up here. But let me tell you something. Your tears are not wasted. Not one of them has fallen without God's notice. The psalmist says, you have kept count of my tossings. Put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? God has been watching you, not with condemnation, but with compassion. He has seen your silent prayers, your lonely nights, your hidden heartbreaks, and he has not forgotten you. What the enemy calls wasted, God calls preparation. What the world sees as delay, God sees as divine alignment. Don't you understand? God was not just letting time pass. He was letting roots grow. He was breaking you to remake you. He was stripping you to clothe you in righteousness. He was emptying you to fill you with his spirit. Those lost years were not lost to God. They were the womb of your restoration. You thought nothing was happening, but in the dark, God was doing his deepest work. The years the locusts ate, God saw every moment, and now he is saying, I will restore. And when God restores, he doesn't give you back what you had, he gives you better. He doesn't rewind the past, he redefines your future. Look at Job. He lost everything, his children, his wealth, his health, and when it seemed that all was over, God restored him, but not just what he had, he gave him twice as much. That's the nature of divine restoration. It is never an equal trade. It is always an overflow. God is not interested in merely replacing what you lost. He is interested in revealing his glory through your comeback. Listen to me. Your story is not finished. The pages may be wrinkled, stained with regret, but the pen is still in God's hand. He writes in resurrection ink. He writes in holy fire. He writes in the blood of the Lamb. And when he restores, it brings all. People will look at you and say, is this the same person who was crushed, who was broken, who was counted out? And you will smile, not because you are strong, but because he is. You will say, this is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. There's a reason why the enemy has fought you so hard. It's because he knows what's coming. He knows that once restoration begins, there will be no stopping it. He knows that when God restores your time, your purpose, your anointing, your family, hell will tremble. That's why he tried to distract you with regret. That's why he tried to keep you stuck in shame. That's why he tried to convince you to settle for survival when God called you to dominion. But today is a shift. Today is a divine announcement. Your delay is over. Your restoration begins now, not because of what you've earned, but because of who God is. He is the one who says, behold, I make all things new. He is the one who brings streams in the desert, the one who turns mourning into dancing, the one who takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it for your good. Your past cannot cancel your call to our mistakes. Do not intimidate your Maker. Let me speak to those who feel forgotten. You've watched others move forward while you felt stuck. You've seen others celebrate victories while you've battled silent battles. But hear me now, God has not overlooked you. Restoration is not always public at first. Sometimes it starts in the secret place. Sometimes God rebuilds you in the dark before he reveals you in the light. Don't despise the quiet season. That's where strength is forged. That's where character is built. That's where healing begins. And when it's time, when God says nothing and no one can stop what he has set in motion. The years you lost to fear, God will replace with courage. The years you lost to confusion, he will restore with clarity. The years you lost to brokenness, he will rebuild with power. Your pain will become your platform. Your scars will become your sermon. What you thought disqualified you will become the very thing God uses to qualify you. Because that's what grace does. It doesn't just forgive, it restores. It doesn't just cleanse, it crowns. And when restoration comes, it won't be subtle. It will be undeniable. You won't have to prove anything to anyone. God will make it evident. He will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. He will anoint your head with oil. He will cause your cup to overflow. They will see the favor of God on your life. They will see the joy that doesn't make sense. They will see the peace that passes understanding, and they will know it was the Lord. There are some of you who have said in your heart, it's too late for me, but you forget who your God is. He is not limited by age, by time, or by circumstances. Moses was 80 when God called him. Sarah was 90 when she gave birth. Abraham was as good as dead when the promise came. Don't tell me it's too late. God is not looking for perfect vessels. He's looking for surrendered ones. Restoration begins when you stop trying to fix yourself and start trusting the one who made you. God is not asking you to earn restoration. He's asking you to believe that he still has a plan, to believe that your future is greater than your past, to believe that what he started, he will finish. And let me tell you something. God doesn't start what he doesn't intend to complete. He is faithful. And even when you were unfaithful, he remained. He kept you alive when you should have been destroyed. He held you up when you were sinking. He whispered hope when you were surrounded by despair. And now he's about to do what only he can do. Let the devil hear it. Let the gates of hell know it. You are not defeated. You are not discarded. You are not done. You are being restored. And when God restores, he makes it better than before. You're about to walk in places that once rejected you. You're about to speak with authority in areas where you once felt shame. You're about to carry blessing in hands that once were empty, because your God is a restorer. And this restoration isn't just for you, it's for your children, it's for your family, it's for the generations that come after you. The curse stops with you. The cycle of defeat ends with you. God is rewriting your legacy, and what was once broken will become a beacon of hope for others. That's why the battle was so intense. That's why the warfare was so fierce, because the enemy knew if you ever got restored, you'd become dangerous to his kingdom. Don't settle. Don't lower your expectations. God is not just going to mend your life, he's going to magnify his glory through it. Get ready. Restoration is coming, and when it comes, it will not ask permission. It will not wait for the opinions of people. It will not be controlled by the systems of man. It will be supernatural. It will be sudden, it will be sacred, and it will be sealed by the hand of God himself. You will laugh again. You will dream again. You will run and not grow weary. You will walk and not faint. The joy of the Lord will be your strength. And you will look back one day and say, if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, I would have perished. But now you live. Now you thrive, not by your own power, but by the Spirit of the living God. So don't look back in regret. Look forward in faith. Don't measure your future by your failure. Measure it by his faithfulness. The God who split the sea is the God who is making a way in your life. The God who rained manna in the wilderness is the God who will provide for you now. The God who brought water from a rock will bring rivers out of your dryness. And the God who raised Christ from the dead is the same God who will restore your years. Lift your head, dry your tears, square your shoulders. The King is not done with you. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not a footnote in someone else's story. You are a chosen vessel, and the oil of restoration is being poured over your life. You are about to shine again. You are about to rise again. You are about to live in the fullness of all God intended for you. And when he restores, you will say, these years were not wasted. They were the pathway to glory. You'll look at every tear, every loss, every delay, and you'll see the hand of God weaving redemption through it all. The wasted years were not wasted. They were the soil of your testimony. And now the harvest is ready. Restoration is here. And let me tell you something else, dear soul. God is not in a hurry, but he is never late. You may feel as though you've been sitting in the waiting room of life, hearing doors slam in your face while others walk through theirs. You may feel like you've stood in the background while your dreams, your calling, your identity have gathered dust. But hear this now. Delay does not mean denial. God's pauses are not God's punishment. Sometimes he holds you back, not because you are forgotten, but because you are favored. Because what he is preparing for you is bigger than what you could have handled in the years you thought were wasted. There is a restoration coming that will not only recover what was lost, it will reposition you. It will place you in rooms you didn't even know existed, conversations you never thought you'd be a part of, influence you never imagined carrying. This is not restoration to the same level. This is promotion to the level he always intended. The years you thought disqualified you were simply the chisel in the hands of a master sculptor. Every scar was shaping your soul for what you were born to carry. You are not just being restored, you are being refined, realigned, and released. When God restores, he doesn't just restore things, he restores time. That's a miracle no man can perform. Time, once gone, seems lost forever. But God is not bound by the clock. He made time. He rules over time. He can pack more purpose into the next 5 years of your life than was lived in the last 20. Don't you see, one moment in the presence of God can reverse decades of destruction. One word from heaven can restore what you thought was beyond resurrection. When the hand of the Lord moves, you won't need man's approval. You'll be carried by divine acceleration. That is what the prophet Joel meant when he declared, I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. He didn't say days. He didn't say events. He said years. Why? Because God wanted you to know that there's no chapter too long, no mistake too costly, no detour too far gone for him to redeem. The same God who spoke into chaos and created light can speak into your life and create glory. He is not intimidated by the time you think you lost. He can do more in one act of obedience than you could do in a lifetime of striving. But listen to me. The restoration of God is not just about getting back what was lost. It's about becoming who you were meant to be before the loss ever happened. There are things he's about to do in your heart that go far deeper than external blessings. He's going to restore your identity. For too long, you've worn labels the enemy handed you: failure, shameful, broken, used, forgotten. But God is removing every false label. He is writing a new name over you: beloved, chosen, redeemed, victorious. You are not who they said you are. You are not the sum of your past. You are who he says you are. And his word is final. You may have failed, but you are not a failure. You may have fallen, but you are not finished. Grace is not weak. It's a consuming fire. And when it touches your life, it doesn't just clean the surface. It burns away every lie, every chain, every mark of the enemy. You walk out not just healed, you walk out transformed. And once God has restored you, no one can reverse it. Let this sink in. God's restoration is holy. It's not merely emotional comfort, it is divine justice. The enemy has robbed you long enough. He has silenced you, mocked you, delayed you, but no more. There is a holy payback coming. God said in Isaiah, instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. That means what was stolen must return with interest. What was broken must be made whole with glory. What was stripped away must return, clothed in righteousness. This is the justice of heaven. It restores with glory. Some of you have lost your voice in the process. You once spoke with boldness, but pain has made you quiet. But restoration will give you your voice back, and it will be stronger than before. When you speak again, demons will tremble. When you declare again, atmospheres will shift. When you worship again, chains will break, because now your voice is forged in the furnace of affliction. It carries the weight of victory. It carries the fire of heaven. And to the one who says, but I caused my own loss, I say to you, even that is not too great for your God. He is not only the God of innocent victims, he is the God of guilty prodigals. When the prodigal son came home, the father didn't scold him, didn't shame him. He ran to him, clothed him, celebrated him. That's what your Father will do. He will restore even the years you squandered in rebellion, because his mercy outruns your mistakes. This restoration will not come through striving. It will come through surrender. You don't have to force it. You have to receive it. God is not looking for your performance. He's looking for your posture. Will you kneel? Will you yield? Will you trust him to write the ending? The cross has already paid the price. The resurrection has already proven his power. Now he is waiting on your surrender so he can release his restoration. And when it comes, oh, when it comes, you will know it was God. It won't be coincidence. It won't be luck. It will have his fingerprints all over it. Restoration from God doesn't just fill your hands, it fills your soul. It restores joy. It restores peace. It restores childlike wonder. You look in the mirror and see someone you almost forgot, a soul alive, eyes lit with holy fire, heart steady with trust, steps firm with purpose. And there's more. This restoration won't just change your life, it will overflow. People around you will be changed by the fire in your eyes. They'll see the oil on your life and know something divine has touched you. Restoration always becomes testimony. Testimony always becomes a weapon. And your story will become a sword that tears down strongholds in others. Because the enemy didn't just lose your past. He lost your voice, your impact, your influence, your life. So rise, stand up in the strength of the Lord. Dry the tears, not because the pain wasn't real, but because the promise is greater. The storm was fierce, yes, but your God is fiercer still. The locust did devour much, but the Lord is a mighty redeemer. The wilderness was long, but the promised land is near. You are not returning to what was. You are rising into what is to come. And oh, how glorious that will be. Restoration that redeems time. Restoration that redeems purpose. Restoration that restores relationships. Opens doors, heals the mind, frees the spirit. God is going to astonish you, not because you deserve it, but because he delights in showing mercy, because his name is faithful, because his character is restoration, and because he loves you. You who once crawled will now run. You who once hid in shame will now stand in boldness. You who once whispered prayers of survival will now roar declarations of destiny. Your mourning will turn to dancing. Your wilderness will blossom, and your story, your life, your voice, your legacy will become living proof that God restores all the years the locusts have eaten. Now, I must speak this plainly. The restoration that God is bringing is not merely to comfort you. It is to commission you. Yes, there is healing in his hands, but there is also holy assignment. You see, when God restores you, he does not return you to the sidelines. He sends you into the battlefield, anointed, armored, and appointed, because the pain you endured was not pointless. It was preparation. The fire you walked through was not just a trial. It was a consecration. God was not punishing you. He was positioning you for an authority that only comes through suffering passed through with faith. You may not have realized it, but while the enemy thought he was destroying you, God was training you. Every long night of tears was birthing endurance. Every silent season of waiting was growing discernment. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer became the furnace in which your spirit was forged for impact. And now God is ready to restore not just what you lost, but who you became in the process. You're not the same person who went into the trial. You're wiser. You're deeper. You're more dangerous to hell than you've ever been. That is the real restoration. A soul so yielded to God that it carries heaven wherever it walks. And you must understand this. Restoration begins in your belief. What you believe about your God determines what you can receive from him. If you see him only as a judge, you will fear approaching him. If you see him as distant, you will hesitate to hope. But if you see him for who he truly is, merciful, powerful, near to the brokenhearted, then faith will rise in you like a river. You will begin to declare, my Redeemer lives. You will begin to pray like one who expects the walls to fall. You will walk into rooms like someone carrying divine promise in every step. Faith is the currency of restoration. God doesn't ask you to figure it all out. He asks you to trust. Trust when you don't see it. Trust when you don't feel it. Trust when everything in the natural says it's over. Because trust is what turns the key to the storehouse of heaven. God said in Isaiah 43, behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? That means there are times when God is already moving. But our lack of spiritual sight keeps us from recognizing it. You must train your spirit to perceive what your eyes cannot yet see. Restoration is often invisible before it becomes visible. But once heaven has spoken, it will manifest. And yes, there will be warfare. Do not be surprised when resistance increases right before restoration arrives. The enemy knows what's coming. He senses the wind shifting. He hears the sound of chains rattling in preparation to break. He sees the angels descending with keys to doors you thought were permanently shut. So he will attack your mind. He will whisper lies. He will stir up fear. but stand firm, because the fierceness of the battle is the forecast of the breakthrough. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. I tell you with urgency, don't curse the season that wounded you. For what the enemy meant for evil, God is now turning for good. The pit you were thrown into is the very place God will elevate you from. Just ask Joseph, just ask Job, ask David, ask anyone who's ever carried the mantle of God's calling. The pattern is the same: pain before power, loss before lifting, wilderness before wonder, and just like them, you will emerge not just restored, but carrying restoration for others. You'll be the one who walks into a broken room and brings hope. You'll be the one who speaks and spirits are lifted. You'll be the one who testifies, I know my God restores. I've seen it. I've lived it. And don't mistake quiet for inactivity. Just because God has been silent does not mean he has been still. Oh no. He's been working in the background, orchestrating connections, preparing people, moving hearts, shifting circumstances, aligning divine timing. When the fullness of time comes, restoration will rush in like a flood. What you waited years for will unfold in moments, and it will be undeniably God. No man will be able to take the credit. No lie will be able to steal the glory. It will be stamped with heaven's seal. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. So I ask you now, are you ready? Are you prepared to receive not just comfort, but commissioning? Not just healing, but heavenly authority? Because when God restores, he does not leave you where he found you. He lifts you. He sends you. He uses you. And there are people waiting on the other side of your restoration. There are captives bound in chains that only your testimony will unlock. There are voices silenced by shame that will find courage through your story. Your restoration is not just for you. It's for the kingdom. This is the hour to rise up. This is the hour to shake the dust of regret from your feet. This is the hour to cast off the garments of shame and wear the robe of righteousness. This is the hour to prophesy again, to dream again, to believe again. The years were not wasted. They were woven into the tapestry of a testimony that will thunder through eternity. You were not disqualified. You were prepared. You were not abandoned. You were anointed. And soon the world will see what God can do with a life surrendered, broken, but believing. They will see the glory shine where ashes once lay. They will witness beauty rise from ruin, and they will know this must be God. For no man could restore with such precision. No counselor could heal with such depth. No scheme of man could orchestrate such a divine reversal. So hold your head high. Walk forward, not with pride, but with holy confidence. The King is restoring what the enemy devoured. The Father is redeeming what you thought was ruined. The Spirit is reigniting what the world tried to snuff out. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. You are chosen. You are beloved. You are rising. And the years you thought were wasted, they are about to become the most powerful part of your legacy. So now I say to you, this is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. This is the sacred turning point where heaven leans in, where grace stands at your door, knocking, waiting, yearning for you to open wide and let the flood of God's restoration rush in. Let every doubt fall to the ground. Let every fear melt in the fire of his love. Let every lie be silenced by the truth of the cross. You are not walking away from this message unchanged. You are walking away called, commissioned, and crowned with purpose. Stand still in your spirit and hear the voice of the Lord saying, I will restore you. Let that echo through every valley of regret, every corner of your broken past, every silent space where you thought God had gone quiet. His voice is still speaking. His hand is still reaching. And his heart has never left you, not for a single breath. You were seen in the storm. You were loved through the fire. And now you are being raised in glory. But don't keep this moment to yourself. Don't walk away from this revelation without response. Lift your hands, fall to your knees, rend your heart before the Lord and say, God, take all of me, restore not just my ears, restore my faith. Restore my fire, restore my fellowship with you. Let the Spirit of God awaken everything that has slept too long. Let the chains of spiritual complacency be shattered. Let every idol be torn down. Because restoration without intimacy is incomplete. And what God wants most is not just to repair your life. He wants to walk with you in the garden again. He wants your heart. So I dare you now, I challenge you in the power and name of Jesus Christ, return to your first love. Return not with conditions, not with rehearsed excuses, but with open hands and a surrendered soul. Cry out like David, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Let repentance wash you. Let grace remake you. Let the fire of his Spirit consume everything that is not eternal. Because what's coming is not religion, it's resurrection. What's coming is not routine, it's revival. But it must begin in you. And as you go, carry this truth like a sword in your spirit. No matter how much has been lost, no matter how long the silence, no matter how deep the wound, God restores. He restores completely. He restores beautifully. He restores purposefully. And he will not stop until your life radiates the glory of what only his hands could do. So rise, child of God. Wipe your tears. Strengthen your spine. Lift your voice. The wasted years are over. The time of restoration is here. Now go and live like you believe it. Go and walk as one redeemed. Go and let the world see what a life rebuilt by the hands of the Almighty looks like. For you, beloved, are the living proof that our God still restores.